Demoniacal Royal Fit is a third-party take on Vegeta's non-canonical Super Saiyan 3 form, which has made an appearance in many Dragon Ball mediums except the mainline manga and anime. The figure was released sometime in between the end of May and beginning of June, and it retails for roughly $50, give or take, depending on where you buy it. I picked up my copy from AliExpress, but Vegeta is also available at places like 5K Toys if you're looking for a retailer that's more local to the US. This figure. It's probably the best Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta figure out there, but there are a couple of things I do want to talk about. Most of it's good, I promise. So when it comes to third-party releases, Demoniacal Fit is usually my go-to in terms of quality. In my experience, they're usually pretty good with QC issues, and the plastics used are almost on par with Tamashii. But what I really like about Demoniacal Fit, and I guess I'm talking about the more recent releases within the last couple of years, is that they don't stray too far away from what Tamashii are doing. In fact, they pretty much downright copy what Tamashii do and throw in something a little bit extra. I mean, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta is basically Tamashii's Majin Vegeta with a new head sculpt and accessories. End of review, right? Well, I think that's the beauty of this figure, and most of Demoniacal Fit's releases actually, they keep it simple, they use what's already there, they improve on it, and they give us, like I said, something a little bit extra. In this case, Vegeta comes with a ton of accessories as well as a blast effect. While I love the fact that other third-party companies and customizers are kind of doing their own thing with their own interpretation of the character, Demoniacal Fit stays pretty true to the official release's look. This looks like an official release, or I guess what an official release would look like at the time of Super Saiyan 3 Goku's release, as Tamashii's aesthetics has kind of changed ever so slightly over the years. I think the similarities are really evident in the sculpting of the hair. If you compare both figures side by side, they have the same sculpting style, similarly shaped strands of hair, and even the shading is done the same way, using a darker metallic yellowish orange to give that hair a bit more depth. The reason why I'm pointing this out, and the reason why I think this is a good thing, is that some of the other third-party offerings are just too different stylistically and can look out of place if you group your figures together in a display. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but if you want a coherent display, I think Demoniacal Fit's designs are the way to go. Another reason why I chose Demoniacal Fit over the other third-party releases are the faces. While not all of them work for me, these faces are the least, to me, derpy looking, if that makes any sense. I'm sure the no eyebrow look is pretty hard to pull off, but I think Demoniacal Fit has done a pretty good job. Probably the best in my opinion. Again, they're not all home runs. The smirk face is probably the worst offender. I think the eyes are a little too close together, but overall I'm pretty satisfied. Now I want to talk about my issues with this figure, and I want to make it clear that this is only my opinion. I know Dragon Ball, amongst other popular anime or comic book characters, have been drawn and depicted by many different artists in many different mediums. This is really only how I picture Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta in my head. I want this particular head sculpt, I want that gorgeous flowing mane in 6-inch form, and unfortunately, the old prototype is the closest thing we're going to get to it right now, and that never got released. First of all, the good. Demoniacal Fit have sculpted hair that actually flows up and curves as it extends back. I see a lot of just using the Super Saiyan front faceplate and just sticking strands of hair to the back. And that doesn't work. The front of the hair should curve and arch back as it goes up, and I think Demoniacal Fit did a great job here. Would I have preferred it to be a tad higher? Sure, but all in all, the front of Vegeta's hair looks good at all angles. The problem I have with the hair is the way that it arches from the back of the head. While, again, some may argue that this is accurate, and I'm sure you can find something out there that looks exactly like this, but for me, it should drape down lower and sit closer to the body. I think Kong Studios have done this better. The hair flows more like an S shape, and while I prefer the sculpting style of Demoniacal Fit, the horizontal arch creates this huge space in between. This might be great for some action poses, this might be great for some flying poses, but getting this guy to stand straight up can be very tricky. It's already super top heavy, but having the hair extend horizontally way back just adds more problems to the balancing. But that's really it. Everything else is just fine. I just wish Demoniacal Fit shaped the hair a little more like an S-curve, or at least made the hair a little more articulated, because even with the ball joints that I guess are supposed to give you a bit of articulation, it ain't going anywhere. The head does use the same hinge joint system that Super Saiyan 3 Goku does, and while it's pretty tight right now, I do have a feeling that the nice friction it has will loosen over time. Again, balancing the figure is going to be a bit of a balancing act. Hey. Alright, sorry guys. But also, if you plan to have Vegeta in a pretty tight Detolf display case, he's gonna knock down those figures at the back. Okay, so let's take a look at Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta's articulation. We're going to start off with the hair, actually, because, like I said, the hair these pieces are on ball joints, but, you know, that's pretty much the only bit of articulation you're going to get from the hair. Oh, wait, hold on, you can go out like this. So you can kind of flip it. And I actually prefer this look a little bit better, but anyway. Can get it to rotate, and that's pretty much it. So Vegeta's head does move up that much, moves down that much, but because of the weight of the hair, eventually it will kind of slide down. You do get pretty good tilt, actually, really good tilt, really good side-to-side tilt there, and of course rotation as well. The head and the neck pieces are independent pieces, so you're going to get a lot of movement using both the head and the neck. So Vegeta does move his arms out almost 90 degrees. We do have butterfly joints, and this is pretty standard stuff. It doesn't go as far as I would like it to, you know, because you're going to want Vegeta to do those blasting poses, hand blast poses, but yeah, it doesn't get too far forward. We get 360 rotation there. Your upper bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. Swivels and hinges at the wrist as well. So for the torso, there is a ball joint in there, and it goes, you know, pretty far back, not too far forward, unfortunately. Might have to crack that open and see what's going on. Might be able to improve a bit of that forward, face forward moving waist articulation. But yeah, we do get side to side swivel there at the waist. Does bend up and down. You can use the waist, I guess, but it's not really a true ab crunch. The legs do kick out this much, and they do kick back and forth really well. It's the 2.0 articulation there. And we get upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, and those dated ankles, which don't get a lot of articulation. That's as much as it'll go down and as much as it'll go up. Toe articulation, kind of had to break that in. It's kind of stiff. And for ankle pivot, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, I mean, you know, it's nothing that we haven't seen before. It's just standard SH figure arts Dragon Ball articulation, but it works, and yeah, you'll find yourself really frustrated at times trying to get this guy to balance, and you'll want to lean the head forward a lot because of the weight of the hair. But you know, overall, you can still get Vegeta in some pretty dynamic poses nonetheless. I guess maybe use a stand I'm sure that'll help. But there we go. Alright, so Demoniacal Fit always does a fantastic job when it comes to packing a release full of fun goodies. We get all the Vegeta hands we've seen so far in a Vegeta release, 2 fists, 2 open palm finger spread out hands, 2 open palm fingers together hands, 2 final flash hands, 2 Vegeta fighting pose hands, an instant transmission left hand, and an iconic Vegeta 3 fingers right hand. But we also get this very nice translucent purple effect piece too, which has these awesome looking electric parts attached to it, which has a peg that allows you to pop it onto the hand with the peg hole. 4 interchangeable faceplates, as well as a bonus margin Vegeta face. This release feels like Demoniacal Fit's first Vegito release, where it takes all the good from what Tamashii has done in the base body and couples it with a head sculpt that could very well be an official release. The only difference is that I don't think Tamashii will be giving us an official release of Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta anytime soon, so for me, this is your best option. If you prefer Kong Studios, great. If you like Fairy Tail's look, more power to you. They're all great options, and options in this hobby is always a good thing. But for me, this is the most accurate representation of one of Vegeta's coolest looks in action figure form. Demoniacal Fit have done pretty good with their quality control in recent years, and I feel they're just getting better. Yes, it does have balancing issues. The hair is pretty much a brick, but you can still get Vegeta into some pretty dynamic poses. The accessories are plentiful and definitely add more display value to the figure, and for roughly $50 US, Royal Blood is a pretty solid release in my books. If you're still trying to decide on which Super Saiyan Vegeta is best for you, I hope this video gave you a bit of useful information. In the end, I think it's really up to your own personal preference, and while I really enjoy Demoniacal Fit's rendition of Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, I hope and pray to the action figure gods watching over us that one day, maybe in the far distant future, Tamashii will bless us with an official release, but if not, this guy is still pretty darn good. Alright guys, that's all for this review. Again, hope you enjoyed it. I'll hopefully be back next week with my first archive review where I'll take a look at some older 1.0 figures in the line. If not, I think it might be a review of a non-Dragon Ball release, and I'll be taking a look at the Buzz Lightyear figure, the new Buzz Lightyear figure from the movie Lightyear. Till then, take good care of yourselves out there, and as always, yoroshiku!